Yeah, I'm ready. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Kyle with Bus and Bethune, and I, along with my family, travel on this here old bus around the U.S. We've been doing so for about 6 years now, so don't mind me. My voice doesn't typically sound this way, but it is bright and early in the morning. I am sipping on some coffee in my favorite coffee mug. I do love owls. I've mentioned that a couple different times. Owls are, for some reason, over the last few years, have become just fascinating to me. I just one of my absolute favorite creatures in the entire world. I saw this at a yard sale a few weeks ago, and I picked this up because I've been an iced coffee drinker for the longest time. And the last few months, I guess since Michigan, I've kind of shifted my tune a little bit to hot coffee. But yeah, guys, welcome, and thanks for joining me this morning. Maybe a little different style today. I'm gonna try something a little different. Sit here and have a little sip and chat, or coffee chat, or I honestly didn't really think of a clever name. I don't have a clever name. Jen is usually the one that does that for us, and she did not give me a clever name for this yet. So we're just gonna call it coffee chat. There's a couple things I want to talk about. Some changes to the channel, I guess, a little bit. Very minor tweaks to the channel. Couple things that I've been doing. I got a comment recently I kind of want to go over a little bit and just chat. I don't really know how long it's going to go. I mean, it goes, I guess, as long as it goes, and that's okay. I'm good with that. So I get this comment, I want to say Thursday of last week. Today's Tuesday. I didn't really recognize the commenter, and I apologize if you commented before and comment a lot. I don't know. I do get a decent amount of comments, and still kind of trying to navigate that whole thing. But anyway, it was a hard comment to read. It was a very long comment, very in depth, very, very informative. Had a lot of information. I don't get a lot of mean comments. I don't really have a lot of trolls anymore. Over the years, we've had our share of trolls throughout various stages of our YouTube and social media content creator journey, which is everyone does. Every creator does. Every YouTuber does. It's just unfortunately part of the job, as they like to say. There's just always going to be people who disagree with you and don't like you, and for some reason feel the need to get online and tell you how worthless and how wrong you're doing life. So we've been getting those for a lot of years, and that's just normal. It is what it is. But this comment was a little different. It came across, it was some constructive criticism, and I can appreciate that as a content creator, as a human being, as a person seeking better for their lives, better, a healing journey, as Jen likes to say. Whatever you want to call it, this person kind of pointed out some things I kind of want to address a little bit. Some things I'd like to talk about that this person had pointed out, and as I reflected on the comment, I took the weekend to reflect on the comment a little bit. And yeah, there's a lot of validity, there's some truth to the comment. There's no doubt about that. And honestly, I think there's truth to most comments, even some of the, I don't want to word this the wrong way, because I don't want to give them validation. There's bits of truth in a lot of comments, whether they be good, bad, whatever the case may be. It may not be your truth at the moment. It may have been something from your past. It may have been something you did once. But I do find there's a lot of truth in a lot of comments, and there's a lot of BS in a lot of comments too. Don't get me wrong. We'll get one troll. They spew so much BS. I just remove it. I don't even. As soon as I can recognize the verbiage within a few seconds, and I just remove it, because you know what? There's literal millions of channels and creators in the world who you can go to their little corner of the internet and just let them have it, and just argue with them and tell them everything that's swirling inside your head. For me, this isn't the place. Don't want to do it. Not interested in it. Don't want to argue with them. Don't want to tell them how right or wrong they are. They're just going to go. But I will, and I can respect a constructive criticism comment. I can respect a question, even a hard question, even a question that I don't like, or coming at me a little bit even. But if it's worded in a respectful way, 9 times out of 10, I'm going to answer it. So that's what I'm going to do. I said all that to say that, the last 3 words. But so yeah, she was pointing out, and I went to go look back through my comments to find it, and I couldn't find it. I don't know if they removed it. I don't know what exactly happened to it. Comments get funky sometimes after you view them, you know, because I was going to respond, but I read it, and it kind of, I thought about it for a day or two and just kind of reflected on it. And me and Jen did too. Jen actually found the comment first and recommended I go look at it. So she was saying how some of my recent videos have had the undertone of negativity. Yeah, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. I did, you know, unfortunately, I've let that shine through a little bit in some vlogs. And I don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. And it was tough when you're filming daily. You know, filming a daily vlog, I learned over the 5 weeks that I've been doing them, you're faced with this camera every day, whether you like it or not, you know. And I've had, unfortunately, some rough days within that 5-week stretch. And I wanted to share my vulnerability, and I wanted to share my struggles along with everyone. You know, I felt like that was kind of something I wanted to do in this channel, and it is. It's something I have depression. I mean, I think that's pretty clear at this point, and I'm going through it right now. I'm going through a cycle right now as we speak, unfortunately. It's just a very real part of my life. It's a very real, relevant part of who I am and my existence and my makeup. And unfortunately right now I'm just kind of, I thought I was on my way out, and I could be, you know. It's waves, you know. You get in it, you kind of creep into it, you know. Depression, you kind of creep into it, or at least for me, this is how it works. I kind of creep into it. You can start seeing signs, you know, as you're approaching, and then all of a sudden you get this, bam, I'm there, and you kind of navigate that, and you kind of work through it, and you know, and then you kind of start sliding, or it feels like you're kind of pushing away from it, and then you kind of, you know, it's just like a, I don't even know, is it a wave? It's just a cycle, and it's, sometimes they last longer, sometimes they don't, you know, and I'm in it, you know, and that's just the bold, it's just the hard, honest truth, and I'm just in it right now. And I want to be real with my channel. I want to be real with you guys. I want to be authentic. I want to come from the heart, because that's, you know, it's how I kind of want this channel to go. It seems kind of meaningless to me if I'm not coming from the heart, if I'm not being real, if I'm not being transparent. It just feels kind of meaningless at this point. I feel like there's just so much of that out there already, and I don't really want to contribute to that. And I think to be a bright side of the internet, and to be a uplifting side of the internet, I need to share my real human struggles with real people, and because I know there's real people who are going through these real human struggles. In saying that, I don't want this channel to be negative. I don't want it to turn into a Kyle depression fest. You know, but yes, there are going to be days that I have depression. There are going to be days that I have to pick up that camera and stare at it for 25 to 30 minutes, usually closer to an hour before I edit it. That's irrelevant. And I would stare at this camera and talk into it and create a vlog. That's just the reality. I've done it many times in the past 5 weeks. It is what it is. And I want to be transparent about how I'm feeling, you know, not always. And I think that's the thing, is I can't let every video be that. Unfortunately, there's going to have to be days I'm just going to have to kind of, I don't want to put on a show. I'm not going to say I'm going to put on a show. I'm not going to say I'm going to just like shove it down, the depression, and just bury it, because it's not realistic, and that's not helping me, and it's not going to help you. But I want to show up and give positivity to this channel. I want to show up, and even if I feel bad, still press record and get through, you know, and work through the video. Now, I don't want to express negativity in the thumbnail, negativity in the titles all the time. You know, unfortunately, in the world of YouTube, negative titles tend to get more clicks than positive, uplifting ones. I mean, that's very proven data. It's very, you can Google it. You know, it's very well known. You know, drama sells. That's why the media, mainstream media, records and films what it films, because that's what people consume. People, for some reason, in our psyches, attach to drama and or, you know, bad news versus good news. Unfortunately, as a culture, that's where we are, and it really works the same in YouTube videos. You know, there are channels that thrive and live off shock value. You know, they are become geniuses at making thumbnails and titles that play on people's psyche and ultimately reel them in. I mean, in every genre, RV space, vlogging, mountain biking. I mean, anything, food, cooking, whatever. There's people that do that, and a lot of people, and they're very successful at it because it does work very well. But I don't want to do that. If I want to sell the video as what I did. That's something Adam did that I respected a lot. He said what he did in the video. That was his titles. I went to Disney today. I mean, he said it in his own way, but he wasn't trying to deceive anyone. He wasn't trying to create titles just to get clicks. And that's a respectable thing for a content creator. Gotta get ahead of this real quick. But she had pointed out that a lot of my titles had having a really negative undertone, and then the videos have been having a very negative undertone, or really, I mean, not even an undertone, a tone, the main tone, and I don't want that. I don't want that for my channel. I don't want that for you, the viewer. I don't want it for me. I would rather look at this for me as a place for positivity, even when I'm not feeling positive, especially when I'm not feeling positive. I want to be able to pick up this camera and say, no, I'm going to film this video. And it's gonna be uplifting. It's gonna be positive, and it's gonna be the bright side of the bright corner of the internet. I don't want to bring negativity. There's gonna be videos, absolutely. I mean, because if I didn't ever have them, it would just be unrealistic and just. But I don't want to show them every time. I don't want to show up and be this negative person. She had pointed out, Jen had mentioned something. I wish I could have found the comment so I could have read it. I wouldn't have read it on here, but. If you did leave that comment, shoot me an email or something. I'd like to talk to you, or leave me another comment. Either whatever you'd rather do. I mean, but I unfortunately lost the comment. But they had made mention that Jen had said something in one of the videos. I don't even remember what it was, but the way I responded was very negative, very just shutting it down, and just in a very negative way. And I don't want to do that. That's something in our relationship, even me and Jen, completely outside of YouTube, that I've worked really hard at, and I don't want. If you live a negative life, you're gonna be exposed to negativity. Negativity grows. Negativity loves negativity, and it's gonna flow towards negativity. I just don't want to do that. And back to the creators that create what they do. They put a negative connotation on their video or on their titles and thumbnails. Negativity is loud. It's a very loud. It just grabs people's attention, but it's not always right. It's not always good. It seeps into your brain, and once it infiltrates the brain, it can go wild. Negativity can then start latching on to just everything, and it's just, before you know it, it's just not good. In the media and social media, there's so much of it out there. There's so endless, especially at our time now. There's endless amounts of it. You can click on any comment, or any post, any video, anywhere, and you read the comments, and there's going to be just pages of this stuff. Negativity is running rampant in this world, at least in our society. Being positive, finding the positivity in things doesn't mean you're ignoring reality. It really doesn't. You can acknowledge it. You can acknowledge, I'm having a crap day. I don't feel good. My depression is telling me to do everything except press record on this camera day. I can acknowledge that, and sometimes I'll do it on camera. Sometimes I won't, and guys, I'm gonna get this wrong again. I've told you from the day one, I'm gonna work through. After working through this, I'm learning as I go. I've never done this before, but I don't need to bring it to the camera every time. Sometimes I feel like I need to. Yes, I feel like crap. No, I don't really want to do this, but I'm gonna do it anyway because it's what I truly want to do. And I'm not going to let this temporary negative emotion make a permanent decision for me. That is something me and Jen I've been working on for years, and especially me. She's a much more naturally positive person than I am. I have this rule in our relationship: is we don't make permanent decisions based on negative emotions. I learned that somewhere. I don't remember where that was. Great philosophy, great way of viewing everything, because I've done that a lot of my life. I've let anger, frustration, depression, anxiety, you name it, all those in the wheel, all those negative, the red ones in the motion wheel. Yeah, I've let all those make some pretty permanent decisions for me in my life, in my past, and it sucks. That's a tough pill to swallow, you know. And I've quit a lot of things in my life. It's kind of it's always had a hold on me. It's always been something I've struggled with as long as I can remember. You know, one of the big ones for me, you know, I talked about this in previous videos. I loved baseball growing up. I did, you know, even into my adult life, I just loved baseball. I grew up playing it since I was probably 4 years old. And I played up till right around I was a teenager. And I quit. I had a coach kind of come at me. You know, I was a good player. I really was a good player. And I played for this team, and I was the youngest player by like almost 2 years, I think. So I didn't see as much playing time as a lot of the other players, and I got where I let that in, and I just kind of festered on me, you know. And I don't think it was, you know, they were obviously bigger, a little bigger than me and stronger than me. I was at that age where, you know, they were starting to grow, and I was still at that prepubescent stage, and they were in pubescence. They were just sprouting up like wildflowers. I let that fester in me, and ultimately I quit. I quit a lot. I quit a lot of things. When they get hard, I tend to quit. I tend to check out, you know, and that's, you know, allowing that negativity to seep in and to just blossom and just fester and ultimately take over, and making some bad decisions in a very temporary emotion. And not to get, you know, I don't want to get too far off topic, you know, but I don't want that for this channel. I don't want this to be a place where people click on it like, well, Kyle's depressed again. It's just going to be a drag. Some of the videos I've produced in the past couple of weeks anyway, I am not super happy with, you know. I'm not, every video is not going to be great. Every video is not going to be like this Oscar-winning masterpiece. I know, another extreme example there, but point being, I don't want that in my videos all the time. It's gonna happen, you know, when you're filming a daily life vlog. I'm filming a lot of daily life, a lot of real daily life in this bus, out in the world, wherever I am. A lot of this is real for me, and a lot of it is real. So I want to thank that commenter for putting that in my attention, and you did it so respectfully, and that's cool. That's really cool. I will take that kind of comment any day of the week. I mean, I hope I can work out of them where I don't receive them anymore, but thank you. I appreciate it. I respect you for sending me that comment, having the courage to send that comment, and doing it in such a respectful, caring, loving way. That's good stuff. Very good stuff. And yeah, appreciate it. I wish I still had it. I don't know if he removed it or if it, yeah, YouTube sometimes just does crazy stuff with comments. That's just the way it is. I do want to talk about one more thing before I let you guys go. As a lot of you know, some of you know, I took a couple days off this weekend. I took Saturday and Sunday off. I didn't film. I didn't post. The daily vlog, I've done it for 5 weeks. I did it for 5 weeks. I did one live stream on a Sunday, so I didn't have a video. I just did a live stream. It's been great. I really enjoyed it. It gave me a lot of reflection. You know, I would film the video one day. I would get up the next morning really early, like I did this morning, and edit it, and then edit, upload, and post. And that was just kind of my routine. I kind of just fell into it, you know. I kind of got where that was my routine, and I like that. I really have been enjoying that. I like getting up early. I like starting my day early. I like hitting the ground running, and I've never been that way before, but I've learned that it's good for me. It's good for me to have a routine, and this gives me that. The vlog gives me that. I am going to go down to 5 days a week, though. I'm going to post Monday through Friday. I need those 2 days off. I've learned that about myself. And I'm not saying it may be this way forever, but for now, I need that 2 days off. I need to have 2 days where I don't have to touch this camera. Creativity-wise, mental health-wise, and a lot of reasons. I know there are other things, unfortunately, in my life right now I still have to do as a source of income, and I've got to have the time to do those. And ultimately, I think just my creativity, or at least from a personal level, needs a break. So moving forward, you know, I'm going to try this for a little while. You know, when I started this channel, I knew I wasn't going to vlog every day forever. That's just unrealistic for me. I'm not at that stage in my life where I can really do that, you know, and I don't really want to. I don't want to work every day. I don't want to have to show up somewhere every single day, because I don't want it to turn into a job. I don't want it to turn into this, oh great, I got to get up and make another video. Having 2 days off a week allows me to rest. I don't even want to touch a camera. I don't want to touch a computer. So basically, I'm going to post Monday through Friday. I'll film, I got to thinking about that, so I'll film Sunday through Thursday, but it's not going to work out that way. I mean, I know that. I mean, I'm going to film when I have to film. There's going to be weekend days that I film, because a lot of times that's when activities or things are actually going on in the world, is on the weekend. A lot of stuff I want to go and do and see and share with you guys will happen on the weekend. So either way, it's going to have to come that way. But the point is, I'm going to show up filming wise, or I'm going to post Monday through Friday. For the now, that's what I'm going to do, and I appreciate your patience and your understanding. I want to focus a little more on quality over quantity. Putting together a good video means a lot to me. It's something I want to do. It's something that's important to me. Good for me, I mean, and there's always going to be critics that it was crap no matter what video I make, but I know if I have a couple of days off, it takes some pressure off. I've been finding it very anxiety inducing to have to create every single day. It really was a lot, because unfortunately I'm just not doing a lot right now. We're not traveling. I don't really go out and I'm just not able to go out and do stuff every single day. And there's only so much in the bus that I can film, that I really want to film. I don't want to be forced to make a video just for the sake of making a video, I guess is ultimately what I'm saying. So I'm going to do Monday through Friday. That gives me a break each week, a very well needed, much needed one. That's still a ton of content. That's over 20 videos a month. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. It gives me, I'm planning them out a little bit. I've learned through making the daily vlog for the 5 weeks that me planning out a video is a smart thing to do. Not a teleprompter and a script and I'm going to do this, and this, and I'm not going to do, but have a base idea around a video I want to make. I think that's very helpful for me. It's beneficial for me, and I think ultimately you get a better product. Like the video I put out yesterday with the winter storm coming, I sat there and thought about this video and just kind of planned it out in my head how I wanted it to go and how I wanted it to look, and I thought it turned out pretty good. It's gotten good. It's good. Yeah, it's been well received, and it turned out well. So I'm going to go with that. I like being able to plan my videos a little bit, and I think you're going to get a better video. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for now. I'll reevaluate again in a few weeks and see how it's going. Ultimately, I'm still trying to figure all this out. It's something I've never done a daily vlog for this amount of time. And that's where I am. That's where I am, and I am comfortable with this. It's pretty. A little anxiety, brought my anxiety down a little bit, because I'm giving me a couple of days where I don't have to think about YouTube. I will think about YouTube, but I don't have to make a video, and that's helpful. That's a weight lifted off my shoulder. I think that's gonna be a good thing. I think for I know a lot of you love daily vlogs and you expect to show up, but I think it's going to be good. I think ultimately this will be you're going to get a better video. I feel like for me, you're going to get a more refreshed, creative me. And I think that's a positive thing, quality over quantity. I think I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that about friendships a while back, or in a previous video, but yeah, I think that's could be said for most things in life. I'm a big quality over quantity kind of guy. Food, friends, YouTube videos, whatever the case may be, because I just think I want to give you guys the best I can, the best I can put out, and I think I'll have a better shot of doing that, having a little bit of break each week versus just trying to push through constantly, because that's just the thing. It's a relentless, basically you have to show up every single day, and that's the ones that do that for months and years on end. My hats off to you. That's incredible. That's next level. That's a special type of creator right there. But that's what I got for you guys. I appreciate you watching this video and showing up for me as you always do. I have so much support on this channel, and it does mean a lot to me. I'm glad I found a system for the comments. I'm glad that's working, and because it's a big part of this channel. Reading these comments, keeping the motivation, giving me reflection, things to reflect on. Like this comment that I talked about today. It's important. As a creator, they teach you. I've been through a lot of YouTube classes. I've been to YouTube seminars, and met some of the biggest creators in the world. and a lot of them say the keys to your success or the answers to your success. A lot of time are sitting in your comments, and they're not wrong. You can learn a lot from the viewer. The viewer, they see you from a different light that you'll never see yourself in. Or even if you have a team, they see you in a light that, you know, that your team may not even see. So you guys, commenters, are a big thing, you know, and I think that's one of the things that make YouTube so special. It's what made YouTube YouTube. Is you get to watch a video, a piece of content. You know, back then it was just a video. It wasn't, you know, I don't know if the word content was used in this world, but you get to watch a video and leave a comment. And that's what makes YouTube great. That's what makes YouTube so powerful. You know, obviously all the platforms do that now, but they were the original. They were the ones that started the comment thing, the reaction thing. Of course, I would like to get 1,000 positive comments and 1,000 positive likes. Reality is I'm not, you know. But I do appreciate the constructive ones. The constructive criticism is a valuable tool for a creator, and I appreciate that. Yeah, guys, that's what I got. And we'll see you tomorrow, Monday through Friday. I'm going to show up, and I appreciate your patience. I appreciate your understanding and your continued support. And yeah, guys, we'll see you tomorrow. Be well, and take care of yourselves and each other. And we'll talk soon. Bye, guys.